I'm Matt Pinfield. With me now are Phil and Paul of Orbital. And it's good to have you here. You have your new album out called Insides, which has actually been out for a little while.
Yeah.
But it is your latest. And we're going to actually show a video for the box in just a minute. I want to ask you a quick question. How did when you two as brothers get really interested in music and become musicians? Was it something at home? Were you interested in like the acid house or deep house? Or
it's sort of earlier than that, wasn't it, really?
Yeah.
It's when I sort of got to be the age of 16 and, you know, sort of Phil started playing me his records and we just started getting into the same music, and we were both, you know, I was playing guitar, he was learning the sax, then he bought a drum machine, and, you know, off we went, really.
Right. So it wasn't like earlier things like Gary Newman or John Fox.
Yeah, it was a lot of all that sort of stuff, yeah, and Cabaret Voltaire, and also a lot of American stuff like hip-hop and early electro stuff that we were really into, which sort of...
the sort of high-energy stuff
yeah,
as well.
and high energy, but in Britain at the time it wasn't getting played anywhere at all, and so it's really sort of specialist imports and things like that, so it was... that's what sort of spurred us on, really, sort of into the electronic sort of side of things. But it was a love of music, really, and which sort of kept us going, really. And it was just that, you know,
also being brought up in a really boring small village, with nothing else to do.
So going out and buying records and listening to them, which is a good thing, you know. Let me ask you a bit about the making of the video, The Box. It's very interesting, the whole technique of that. How do you feel about videos in particular? Do you feel that really...
It's really, I really like the opportunity to sort of take it, you know, and use it as a totally creative thing, really.
Yeah, to give someone the chance to sort of make, you know, put together a short film or whatever. It's just definitely a good platform for that.
Yeah, The Box we were really pleased with. You know, we haven't made that many videos, really, but The Box was definitely one of my favourites. You know, we had a bit of a bigger budget, so therefore we could sort of expand a bit and experiment a bit, and it was great. It was really good.
Yeah, it's really interesting, the whole technique of the filming, too. Well, let's check it out right now. In fact, right now we're going to watch the first video of Orbital's album, Inside. So this is The Box.
Books, check them out. Books, check them out. Pick up a book. You got a fantasy, imagination can take you to where you want to be. Are you curious? How can you find out? Books, check them out. Books, check them out. Read about stars and cars, play electric guitars, or cops that work hard, patrolling the boulevard, the heavyweight champ and his craziest bout. Books, check them out. Books, check them out.
Welcome back to 120 Minutes. I'm Matt Pinfield, and I'm here with Orbital, Phil and Paul, and we just saw a little of the We Are Here video. Now, one of the things that a lot of people don't realize about Orbital is that you were doing a lot of gigs even before you put out your first record. You were out performing live. And a lot of people think that at the time was unusual for a lot of techno and trance bands.
Well, I don't know, because we came from that sort of, you know, that background of going to see bands like Cabaret Voltaire and Hula and Shack and, you know, all the sort of semi or totally electronic bands, and they all used to play live, and it just never occurred to us that we wouldn't play live, really.
It was quite funny, though, because we had an outlet to go into clubs and do PAs, and there were a lot of people at that time, you know, going along and just doing their sort of club hit and, you know, miming to that and stuff like that, and, you know, performing and, you know, and doing all that. And there's us sort of quite minimal, you know, sort of concentrating and really fiddling, because obviously we're, you know, like mixing it live and doing it all properly, you know, it was sort of very different to what they were used to, but, you know, it's sort of give the audience enough credit and they, you know, eventually they understand what's going on. But it was quite difficult about 6 years ago, you know, just sort of getting it across, really.
Yeah, I mean, when you look back at some of those early Cabaret Voltaire gigs, like when they were doing early stuff like Photophobia, and even later with Sensoria, just the way their whole show had progressed. And, you know, did you find that was one of the things that was inspirational for you as far as performing live, seeing a band like that?
Yeah, definitely. Cabaret Voltaire, when I went to see them with the sort of, you know, electronic drummer and all the sort of film footage and that sort of thing. Definitely, you know, impressed with that.
Yeah, when we come back, I want to talk about Chime, too, and I'm talking about the start of the band, because it's a great single. We'll be talking more with Phil and Paul in a little while. Right now, though, it's a brand new one from the English band called Morchiba, and this is the first clip off their debut album, Who Can You Trust? It's the first song called Trigger Hippie. It's new in 120 Minutes tonight. I'm Matt Pinfield, your host of 120 Minutes, and sitting next to me are Phil and Paul Hartnell of Orbital. Let's talk a bit about Chime. That first single, I remember myself being out DJing in clubs and everybody coming up and going, what is that? When that single came out, I mean, immediately you got signed off that. People were really interested in that. But at the time, there wasn't a lot, people weren't used to, I mean, labels didn't necessarily know how to promote trance, techno, or house records at the time very well. They didn't really have that avenue. And they didn't want you to play out as much live at the time, right? Was that frustrating at first, or were you just excited to actually have the opportunity to get distributed and have more people hear Chime?
Well, I think really, at that time, the main sort of source of advertising, if you like, was DJs, and that was purely it, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's like, sort of from pressing up 2,000 white labels, as it were, like very small, just a very small amount going out in vans, and it's like just DJs playing it all over the country in all the clubs. That's that's what sort of set the ball rolling for that track, wasn't it? Really, and that was purely that.
It was really good for us, that it did get picked up on the clubs, and that, it was very distinctive in some respects, though you didn't know at the time, and it was, like, I don't know, it's quite, it's very nostalgic now, and it takes you back, to the, and it's quite jolly and that sort of thing, but it was, we were really lucky with that, and it did help us, secure a record deal, really. But at the time, we were like saying to London Records, oh, treat us like another band, we do LPs, and at the time, it wasn't really the done thing for electronic bands to do
for
LPs.
Dance music, it was very much sort of 12-inch deals, wasn't it? And take it every 12-inch at a time.
Yeah, it was, and that's the way a lot of records obviously broke through clubs. It's the DJs and word of mouth and kind of the whole underground.
Exactly.
And your first two records, which are the self-titled ones in '91 and '93 too, it's the same kind of thing where it just kind of grew more organically. Your fan base at the time. Stick around because we still have more to talk with Orbital about, and right after the break, it's a new one from Pulp. So stay with us. Welcome back to 120 Minutes. I'm your host, Matt Pinfield, and I've been talking with Orbital. That's your son in that video, right?
Both of them, actually. There's one in the cupboard, and there's one in the little bird suit dancing on the table.
That's great.
Louis and Milo.
It's a cool song. It's a really colorful, good, a lot of images in the video. It's great to actually incorporate your kids in
Yeah.
Well, it's our parents' kitchen as well.
Yeah.
Is it really?
That's a
very homegrown video, that one.
Yeah, that was like a crash course in how to make a video, really, that one.
Yeah.
I've got a friend, a director friend in at the end, and, it was a bit of a collective thing. It turned out all right, actually. I was quite pleased.
I like it a lot. Inside's the new album. Let's talk about the fact that you're dealing with quite a few social issues in there. You talk about the oil spill.
Yeah, they sort of turn up. Yeah, it's not like a conscious decision, oh, right, we're going to make a song about, the oil spill. It's just when you're expressing yourself, that's the sort of things that come out. And
when you sort of start working on the music first, and then it reminds you of something. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You get the calls and think, oh, this reminds me of all that sort of horrible water around the coast of the UK, and then off you go on a tangent then, so these things just sort of pop up rather than you starting, with them.
Right. Now, tell me a bit about the box being, I love the fact that you had that 30-minute version out on the EP as well. A lot of people were talking about and reacting to that. How do you feel about, a lot of people always think you have to have short, formed songs and things of short length. Is it fun to go off and actually...
Well, that was good fun, because I mean that was a bit of a like a concept single, if you like.
Yeah.
Just sort of really sort of going with the idea of I've been listening to a lot of John Barry and Lalo Schifrin and Ennio Morricone and things like that.
We're talking about the
And
soundtrack director.
and it was sort of like,
composers.
well, let's that little the second part of the box on the album just reminded me of all those things. It was sort of like a tribute to John Barry, if you like. So it seemed like a good idea to make a single that was as if, like the theme to a program, and then all the incidental music to some kind of, 70s program like the Persuaders or, something like that.
Yeah, there's all interesting soundtracks back then.
Yeah.
Prisoner theme,
Pretty
and,
good,
Prisoner was great, right?
Well, that sort of mix of band and orchestra and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Strange instruments like harpsichords and that.
Yeah, it really works there as well. Well, I want to thank you for coming by.
Thank you.
And
Thanks
good
for
luck
having
with
us.
everything.
Thanks.
Congratulations on headlining Glastonbury this year too, and being a part of that. Right? I mean, that was fun to do.
Oh yeah, what that was.
Actually, was
Last year.
That was,
Last year, I mean,
last
that's what I
year.
mean,
They
yeah.
missed it out this year. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that.
Because it's
was
canceled this year, it
wonderful.
didn't happen.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah.
After all those years, Glastonbury canceled. It's been classic since like the late '60s. Right?
Yeah.
Amazing. But I mean, congratulations on doing the last
Thanks.
one.
That was good.
great, yeah.
No, that was good.
And good luck with everything.
Thanks
as
a
well.
lot.
The tour. I know you're going to be all around the country this week.
Yeah.
Insides is the new album that's out. And up next, we got a brand new video from Pulp. It's first song off their latest album, Different Class. It's called Disco 2000. It's new on 120 minutes. Thanks again, guys. For
Thank
coming
you.
by.
Thank you.